Stall out them pint bottles out granny crib. I poured so much I ain't want to live. Told money then, shit we in the wind. I was in the hood when I clipped the bin. Since a young nigga I been ready. Went glass house on every Chevy. In this game I tried plenty settings. It's all or nothing how niggas been. Got sucker niggas, keep suckers with them. One of the reasons I ain't fucking with them. Trish taking some more than her. Guess she couldn't even afford a winner. I'm open late, don't need a scale, and it's always over. Sneak wishing well, I double down, slick shit to spell. Shawty no on, kiss and tell. I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, 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 faded. Hell, I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, 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 faded.
To the greatest damn show on YouTube. Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
There we go, chat. Oh man, double tap the screen, shut alive out. What we doing today, chat? Double tap the screen, shut alive out. What we doing today, chat, man? Well, we got Lori in here. What's up, Lori? Mama Money says she put her diss in, la in the building. Double tap the screen, shut alive out, man. We got a good episode today, man. Y'all can see I'm on Myron, man. I gotta get on Myron ass today, man. Myron, I don't dislike, I don't hate Myron. I just hate the little BA stuff he does, man. We not 10 minutes in yet, so I'm trying not to go. I just hate the little BA stuff he says and the little we gonna get into it, man. Also we got Jasmine Crockett coming out talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. We got Trump talking about he's gonna block state AI regulations, and I'm not feeling too good about that. I'm gonna let y'all know that off the rip. Like, what happened to the Republicans saying that we need to leave it to the states and it needs to be a states' right thing? Now Trump's coming in trying to block state regulations on damn AI. It's crazy. Also, we got a couple miscellaneous clips, and we're gonna get into some protecting our kids, man. This is gonna be a lesson about protecting our kids. Sean Ryan had a really good segment on one of his shows about it. Also, we got a couple miscellaneous clips, like I said. We're gonna get into it, have a real good episode. Oh, and breaking news, Candace Owens, man. We're gonna start with this Candace Owens too, man. That's probably where we're gonna start before we get into the Myron. Candace said, urgent, 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, hold on, I'll pull up the tweet for y'all, man. I'll pull it up. Let me pull up the tweet so y'all can see what Candace is talking about. Matter of fact, I won't. Forget it. I won't. I'll just read it. Y'all trust my reading, man. It's on her page. It says, 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that a green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I'm told there is one Israeli that is on this assassination squad and that the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further, to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassination was trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade in a multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of the state of France apparently wants us both unalived and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted, since this source claims our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information which is definitively verifiable should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil in Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you. Truly. How do y'all feel about those words from Candace, man? How do y'all feel about those words from Candace, man? Double tap the screen, shut the live out. We not gonna do the baby go intro today, man. La, still hope you got them plain lays ready. We just gonna move on into that episode. So my thoughts on that. Yeah, we already knew that Candace had some money on her head, man. We knew that Candace was gonna have some money on her head. Now, a trained assassin team, I believe it, because Candace is at a point to where she's around so much money and she can have really good security. You know, it's not like a rapper or, you know, an entertainer that just has to go somewhere, show an event, or you could follow them and catch them in an elevator or going to have, you know, parking in a parking garage and just run up on them and blow them down. They can't make it look like a robbery gone bad. You know what I'm saying? Candace Owens is not gonna be that person you could just get up out of here and make it look like a robbery gone bad. You know, so when they say they're hiring a hit team, a professional team that's training, I believe that, because it's just a different level of protection. Like, you think Candace Owens don't got bulletproof cars? Like, her husband's worth all those millions. You know what I'm saying? She has bulletproof cars. You don't think Candace Owens probably has, you know, high-tech security shit? Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit different trying to get Candace Owens out of the way than it would be a rapper or an entertainer or something. Like, nah, Candace is gonna be really what can I say, to have her head on a swivel. You say you got the plain lays, man. Please don't hurt that lady or her family, man. I hope they don't. Let's get into this Myron Gaines clip, though. We'll get back into the Candace later, man. Let's get into this Myron Gaines clip, bro, because I made a video about this, but I want to react to this on live with y'all before, you know, the video uploads.
Let's keep it real. Black people are the most racist fucking people in the West. Who can go ahead and use pejorative racial terms with almost zero fucking consequence every time? Who calls... Everybody. What do we mean? Who can use the most majority of racist terms? So let's break these two-part down right here. He said blacks are majority the most racist people in the West. He didn't say prejudice. He said racist. So I'm gonna stop him there. If you want to say it's equal or some black people are as equally racist, we can have that conversation. But to say black people are the most racist people in the West, you full of shit, Myron. You lying, you capping, you just feeding your audience. Now, to say that black people say the most racist things without consequence is again cap. Every other race can use nigga. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. Every race says nigga. It don't matter if you black, white, dark, bright, Asian, Indian, Brazilian. It doesn't matter. Hawaii, every race uses nigga. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to say that we say the most racist stuff without consequence, again, that's cap. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at a Nick Fuentes. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at some of the things that these creators say. They got big ass platforms. They're not getting repercussions for talking about racist shit. They're actually getting platform for being racist. Let's just be real. So those are two things that I'm gonna point out that Myron got wrong off the damn dribble. Whites crackers all the time with impunity. Who freaks out?
Now, he says that black people call whites crackers all the time without impunity. Again, this is about where you're at in America. If you're in Florida or you're in Georgia, like, has Myron never heard of the Florida crackers? Has Myron never heard of the Georgia crackers? Like, do we hold on, let me pull it up, man. Let me pull it up. I wish Stein was in here for this one, man. Let me pull it up. Florida crackers. I ain't gonna say crackers. I'm gonna put it in Florida crackers. Let me put it in right. Florida cracker, the original Floridian. So they saying that if you're a cracker, you're an original Floridian. You know what I'm saying? Now, there has been, you know, a little change over time where people tried to make it that. But it's like they have festivals for this shit, Myron. Like, they have whole festivals, you know, all kind of shit like that. It's about the what is they call the term etymology, where they crack the whip and it makes the sound, you know what I'm saying, crackers. But I just don't think Myra might have knew that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a whole section of Florida crackers, Georgia crackers out there. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think he knows that.
Bomb black people, this low IQ shit, victimhood, calling people racist when y'all are the biggest pushers of racism. You guys push the very racism that you guys cry about all day. I get hella love from white people. When I was at Ohio, so many people came up to me and said, hey, you get hella love for white people because you talk about niggas all day. I'm just gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were sitting here talking like I'm talking about driving, stomping, and doing all of this stuff about white people like you were black people, they wouldn't fuck with you either. You know what I'm saying? You are wondering why black people don't really fuck with you like that, but the white people do. Is because shit, you talk about black people all day. That's your content. Now, this is my problem with Myron. It's that he claims to hate black fatigue so much, and he's tired of the way that black people act. If black people got it together, Myron, you probably wouldn't have no damn content. You would just cherry pick the stories. Let's be real. They said the red pill is dying. That's not going too well. So you got in with the Hayes twins, Nick Fuentes, and you just wanted to, you know, talk about black people all day. Body cam footage about black people. Black people about food stamps. The racism debate, the red line. All you want to do is talk about black people. So it's like, do you really have black fatigue, or are you chasing black content? Let's just be real. You like to talk about black people. You like to post about black people, and your audience likes to hear you do that shit. Your analytics don't really do too much. I mean, don't get me wrong. Your analytics better than mine. We'll just put that out there. You got some crazy analytics, but you get crazy spikes on analytics when you talk about black people. Let's just be real here, Myron. You talk about black people because you make money on it. You talk about black people because you gain a following on it. You don't truly hate black people. You don't truly hate black culture. You just know that that's what's going to bring the bag.
I drove hours to come see you, to meet you, to shake your hand, blah, blah, blah. Because we're able to connect on an intellectual level. We're able to, we have the similar mindset. We're past skin color. You stupid niggas are still stuck in the 1800s with skin color. You guys are still over here crying about racism. When in reality, I would argue black people have more opportunities than anybody else, but you niggas are still poor.
And this is the thing about him talking about black people crying about racism. It's like, shit, Myron, you talk about it more than the average black person. If you want to be real, Myron's whole pocket, like he has a whole pocket of this black fatigue content here. And just, if you want to compare who talks about racism more, the average black person or Myron, I swear to God, I think Myron beats all of them. I swear to God, I think Myron's whole content is this shit right now, man, because the red pill shit's fizzling out a little bit, man. Like, let's just be real here. Who truly worries about racism? Who wakes up and thinks about racism more, the average black person or Myron? It's Myron, because Myron has to prepare for a video. Myron has to prepare for a live stream. He has to get his notes together. He has to be ready to debate the shit. Myron, you care more about racism than the average black person. Let's just be real. Let's get this shit straight through the door.
Niggas are still stupid. You guys are still not educated. You guys are still committing crime. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Have a real conversation with yourselves. You have more opportunities as a fucking black man in America than any other group of people. Get the fuck out of here with these excuses.
Pull up the FBI crime stats on touching kids and shit. Since you want to talk about that, boss, pull up the crime stats on touching kids. And since we want to talk about repeat offenders, how many people that get caught with child porn is a first-time offender? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the slaps on the wrist and shit like that. Since you want to get in and talk about FBI crime stats, FBI crime stats show a whole lot of kid touching and child porn going on in certain communities too.
How your family been here for 8 generations, but you got $8 in your fucking bank account? Bro, my dad came here in the fucking 70s. Didn't speak a lick of English. Didn't know shit. Didn't know how anything was. Figured it out. Muslim Arab guy.
Congratulations to your dad, Marvin. You said your dad came over here, didn't know English, didn't know shit. He got it together. Salute to your dad.
Comes over here, drives a cab, works his way up. Kids, fucking poor as fuck. Never took $1 of welfare. He figured it out. And the rest of America is waking up to it. Why do you think black fatigue is a thing now? Smart people talk about ideas. Dumb people talk about skin color.
Listen, okay, so black fatigue is a thing right now because of the algorithms. You know what I'm saying? It's a pocket. You get ads ran. It's money, man. It's money there. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. It's money there. If it was still, if white fatigue had it, this is what I don't get about Myron. It's like he keeps talking about the black community and shit like Myron. Nobody's putting you with niggas. Let's just be real. When anybody runs across Myron, they don't think he's a black American. Like, let's just be all the way real. Myron, why don't you double down on your content over there in Dearborn and what's going on over there in Dearborn? You might well double down on that shit over there, bro.
And racism and all this other bullshit, especially in 2025, when as a colored person you have more opportunities than anybody else, but niggas always got a fucking excuse for why they're losers. Systemic racism.
Now, He says that colored people, well, I guess he's bunching all of colored people together, have more opportunity than anybody else. It used to be that they had the same amount. Now it's more. You know what I'm saying? So which one is it going to be? Is it that you got the same opportunity or is it more opportunity? I just don't know.
Redlining, police brutality. Oh, man. Bro, thank God for these body cameras. For these body cameras. Now we can see you dumbasses behave how you really behave. I just do nothing. I just do nothing. Shut the fuck up. Every time I watch a body cam with you stupid ass niggas, you're not.
Exactly. More content. If you so mad about the black community and you don't like the black community and you're tired of black fatigue, why the hell are you pulling up body cam footage just talking about I didn't do nothing? You're up, you love this shit. It gets you paid, you know what I'm saying? So this is my problem with Myron. My problem with Myron is not what he says. It's not his stance on things. Like, shit, say what you want to say, but don't act like you're not eating this shit up. You wake up every day checking those analytics and seeing how much rage bait and how many reactions you got so you can kind of see what kind of AdSense or whatever platform you on, kind of paycheck you gonna get. That's my problem with Myron. He puts on this facade, this face, like he just hates black fatigue, but he truly doesn't. He truly doesn't. He's probably making more than he ever has because of talking about black fatigue. With the food stamps, with the EBT, with the red line, and with the sister. He's making more than ever. That's my only problem, nigga. Just keep it real. Just say, hey, look, when I talk about this shit, my numbers go up. When I talk about this shit, people eat the shit up and I'm making bank. Don't make it seem like you genuinely, truly don't like the shit, bro. You doubling down and tripling down. You getting these clips out and it's rage bait. The other clips, cool. He's not the only rage baiter in the space. We finna go over some more rage baiters in a minute that's just not about black people. But let's just be real here. And he talks about IQ. I don't know. He always talks about IQ, which I just took an IQ test a couple weeks ago. You know, it was in the Discord. But listen, why is he not talking about... Matter of fact, I'm gonna let the rest of the clip play. Y'all, let's see it. Here it go. We haven't got that far. Here it go.
Cops, you're reaching for weird shit. You're doing dumb stuff. You're running. BLM, we need body cameras. God, now we can see how you fucking idiots really behave. I don't do nothing while you're reaching for the fucking gun in the car. Shut the fuck up. Day one, we're pulling all the fat niggas in concentration camps, and we're giving all these fucking FBA niggas an IQ test. Bro, if...
This is why I want to stop it, because he's saying day one we putting all the fat people in concentration camps, giving all the FBAs an IQ test. That's not meritocracy, Myron. I thought you were, the Republican of all Republicans. I thought you were the fooher, the face of this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not meritocracy. That sounds like DEI qualifications there, because what about Billy Bob and them up in the mountains who's been smoking meth for the last 13 years? You gonna give him an IQ test, and if he don't pass, he gotta take his ass back across the pond? Are you gonna do that to them? And we talking about all the fat people going to concentration camps. What about the motherfuckers we can see their heart beating through their damn chest? What about the people who shit 35, 40 damn pounds out here, man? We talking about you want to go at the fat people, but you don't want to go at the extremely skinny people. You want to IQ test the black people, but you don't want to IQ test anybody. But this is meritocracy, right? This is merit-based, right? You want a merit-based America.
You score under 100, you're getting on the boat and you're going back, nigga. We're sending you to fucking Wakanda. Get the fuck out of here. Crime's gonna drop by 90%.
Do it to everybody. Give everybody an IQ test. If that's what we're going to do, if we're going to make the country an IQ thing, I'm here. I know I'm going to be here. I know my kids going to be here. I can't speak for everybody else. Give everybody an IQ test. Let's see how many blacks, whites, Hispanics, any race you want to name get deported. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. That's what meritocracy would be, right? That would be merit-based, right? Giving it to everybody. Give it to everybody, man. Give everybody a damn IQ test. All right, Chad, we finna move on, though. We finna move on. This guy right here is giving his niece, I guess his niece is a stud or a dyke or whichever one. I didn't know the difference between them, Chad. I just seen an Instagram video where they showed the difference between a stud, a dyke, and a stem. I never knew it was a difference, man. I thought they was just different names for kind of the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? I never knew it was a difference. But this man is making a point, man, to his niece, man. I'm gonna see if I can find that video about the differences.
You gotta take the drawers out.
I'm not taking no drawers out. What you trying to take the drawers out for?
Because it make it lighter.
No, we still gonna have to tote the drawers upstairs. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It ain't too heavy.
It is.
No, you need. That's why you.
I'm not a man.
Listen, what I'm saying
I'm not a man.
Hold on, listen. Your Uncle Bruce know that. Okay, I know that. All right, but anybody that's looking at a dyke or a stud, you know what they're gonna say? She want to be a man. She want to act like a man. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Okay, but so at the end, so what that means is that the help that a woman would get that's not a stud, a regular woman, the help that she would get, you're not gonna get that. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So it's gonna be times where you're gonna have to do man shit. So by you being my niece,
I'm not listening. You gotta take the
Is he
drawers out.
wrong?
I'm not taking no drawers out. What you trying to take drawers
Is he wrong, chat?
out for?
Because it make it lighter.
He just told his niece, man, that's a stud right there. Like, look, man, I'm not taking these drawers or dresses out for you because you want to be a man. You present yourself as a man, so it's going to be times that you got to do some man shit. Is he wrong for that, chat? Is he wrong? Put yes or no in the chat. Is he wrong for telling his niece that sometimes, since you want to dress like a man, sometimes you got to do some man shit? You know what I'm saying? Straight up, chat. I mean, I agree with him. Straight up, man. Hey, look. Time tells all, man. You got to do some man shit, man. Hey, you want to walk around like that, man? When time comes for us to move some shit, get these groceries out the damn car and shit, man. Don't be trying to pick up them bags that got them canned goods in them. Don't be trying to avoid the bags that got the canned goods, man. Go and grab you a couple bags of them canned goods, man. Carry this shit upstairs, man. Straight up. All right, this man right here they're saying that a woman is 91 years old. They pushed her out of her home because I believe of eminent domain. I don't know if they want to put a highway through her house or whatever, but they pushed her 91 year old woman out of her house. You said, are you serious? This what you on for? I don't know what you mean, bro. I guess shit. I'm here. I'm doing a live.
All you people are fucked up. And you are fucked up too, but this up. Why am I up? No, why am I up? Why am I up? Why am I up? Why am I up? Why am I being trained? You telling me I'm under arrest? Tell me stop. Tell me stop. Stop. I'm not resisting. I gotta take out a breath. Stop. What do you say? What do you say? Why am I up? No, why am I up? Why am I up? Why am I up? Slowly, please. I'm a disabled veteran. My left arm. Yes, need medical attention. Thank you.
Well, I remember back when
I have belongings. Could you see to them? No, it's a backpack. I'm asking you, sir.
So I thank the people that are here supporting an elderly woman, 91 years old. I would like everybody in this room that supports this woman, and that includes you gentlemen, to stand, please.
And if you can't, raise your hand, please. Respectfully. Nice and high so your neighbor may see you.
Pardon me for already tainting my voice, because that's anger. Guess what? There is a time for anger. It needs to be harnessed. And by the grace of God, I'm not flipping this table over.
Yeah, he went off, man. They took that woman house, 91 years old. What is she supposed to do? Go somewhere where she got to pay rent? Go to a nursing home? Like what? Move with a family member? Like, that's crazy, man. 91 years old, bro. Stressing that woman out, man. All right, this is Sean Ryan, man. This is the Sean Ryan Show. He talking about the online protections, man. Some of the sick and nasty shit that's going on these video games, man. We got to protect these kids.
I have little children cut themselves for me and do weird shit. and like I might have people like strangle themselves with a fucking cable or kill their pets or just do weird shit, and I record it. Or I have other people record it, and then like I'm part of a cult, like a really bad people cult. But I'm also part of some other shit too, just like late shit.
Oh, who knows? With that guy, that was just a random piece of evidence. Here's Roblox, which I'll get more into after this. But you see, that's their logo right there, and then that's a shirt that says "I love CP," and it's in the game itself. Me not a victim. Like all of these things that should be censored by the game, not being censored. This, and this. Donate for CP. And the thing about Roblox is,
look, man, they got it on there. Donate for CP, man. Donate for CP. This shit is crazy, man. We gotta be very vigilant, man, on with these kids on these devices playing these games and shit, man. We gotta be very vigilant, man. This shit is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that shit really pushed me to not even want my kids to get no devices or no games and shit like that. I know I had a little Super Nintendo and all of that, man, but look, man, we wasn't online with it.
It's like having another producer in the room that knows it.
Hold on, Chad. Let me get us to the ad free. Damn, I just flipped it over. Hold on. Flip this bad boy back over, man. All right, this is gonna be Jasmine Crockett, man, responding to Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping down from Congress.
Tonight,
man.
The president is renewing efforts to override.
This is Trump trying to take the state regulations away, man. The states are trying to regulate AI on their own, and Trump is trying to come in and be like, look, y'all can't do that. So I'm sitting here looking at this like, what happened to smaller government? What happened to the states being able to decide? Like when it was a Roe v. Wade situation, you know, everybody was, let the states decide. That's what the Republicans said, let the states decide, right? But when it comes to AI, the states can't decide AI. You know what I'm saying? If your state want to ban some AI or not let some shit go on, you know, that's when we need some federal oversight. But when it comes to anything else, you know, let the states do it. I thought we was going to let the states do it, man. I think Trump should let the states do it, man. If we're going to let the states do it on everything else, guns, abortion, why the states can't regulate AI? Because of our economy. Our economy, everything is hung up on the damn... It's hung up on AI, man. If AI fails, our economy goes to shit. So that's why Trump does not want the states regulating AI on their own, man. Let's hear it.
State-level artificial intelligence laws.
And that includes Tennessee's high-profile Elvis Act, protecting artists' name, image, and likeness. Here's News 2's Kelly Milan.
A draft executive order now circulating in Washington could give the federal government sweeping authority over artificial intelligence and strip states of the power to enact their own protections. Tennessee is one of the states with the most at stake. Its Elvis Act, passed just last year, made national headlines for giving artists new control over their voice, image, and likeness in the age of AI.
If federal preemption comes to fruition, it could potentially invalidate the Elvis Act. And the Elvis Act was passed just last year to protect creators.
Earlier this week, President Trump posted that over-regulation by the states is threatening to undermine this major growth engine and our...
The money. I told y'all, our economy, the top 7 is all in on AI. The big 7 is all in on AI, man. Trump can't afford to let Tennessee regulate this shit, man. So is it actually about regulation and protections? Is it actually about what the states won't? No, it's not. Because it's the big money, man. We're all in, man. If AI fails, we're fucked. I don't know how else to say it.
The U.S. needs, quote, one federal standard. The message rooted in a broader concern, falling behind China in AI development.
And states like California, New York, and Colorado have very stringent regulatory schemes. And now these AI companies are going to be forced to comply with 50 different regulatory schemes, which is going to slow us down compared to adversarial countries like China in their AI development.
Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Sturmedi was one of the first to push back when Washington moved to limit state authority. He joined Governor Bill Lee and other Republican governors urging...
You said Plug owes me a stack. I don't owe you shit. You need to donate to the damn channel. You talking about I owe you. You owe me, hell. Donate to the damn channel. Did you like the video? Did you subscribe? Hell, do something.
federal government not to sideline state protections in Trump's big, beautiful bill. That moratorium put those federal moves on hold.
Usually when the federal government preempts the states, there's a federal plan in place. So, there would be a comprehensive federal regulatory scheme, and that you don't want the states to bump into that. But here, the federal government isn't doing anything to regulate AI.
If the executive order is signed, it would not take effect immediately. It would first move to Congress for review, where lawmakers would determine how broad reemption should be and whether laws like Tennessee's Elvis Act remain intact, are weakened, or are swept aside entirely. Back to you.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. You said you are subscribed, boss. I appreciate that subscription, but I'm not finna pull up that FBI data right now. I'm in the flow of the show. We can't have a debate on that though. We can do a panel one of these days, and we can pull up all the stats, the crime stats for every single community, and we can have that debate. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. But today is not the day, not this episode, man. I'm kind of on a time crunch right now. I got to get my kids to their mom.
Announcement from Congresswoman Green. What went through your mind when you first heard she was going to resign on January 5th?
You know what? Honestly, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're on the other side of the president for 1 week, and you...
He said we better stack on the black murder rate. Man, you a damn lie. I ain't bet you nothing about the black murder rate. You said something about the black murder rate, and I said when you want to pull up these statistics, everybody change the subject when we get to talking about the child porn and the kids getting touched. When we pull up those statistics, everybody gets quiet. It's all good about the FBI statistics when we're talking about crime and shit, but when we pull up those child porn numbers and those child first time offenders with touching kids and shit, the conversation always changes. That's what I said. I never bet you a stack. I never denied what you said. I just made a point.
Can't take the heat. Imagine what it is to sit in my shoes, to not only be on the opposite side of him, but to have people like her who are constantly fanning the flames of hate. And imagine what those threats look like when you literally are someone like me. But at the end of the day, I know that I serve the people of Texas 30. And so my job isn't to be there and necessarily do whatever is going to make the president not be on my back. But instead is to focus on making sure that I can push forward with policies that are positive for Texas 30.
Here's an excerpt from her resignation video. Take a listen.
Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for.
Seems to be suggesting that it is their disagreement over the release of the Epstein files that is causing this shocking political breakup. What's your response to that?
I mean, listen, he's upset with Thomas Massey, and so he's gone after him. He's upset with Boebert. He's upset with any Republican that actually signed the discharge petition. But somehow they were able to weather the storm. So, this really speaks to the fact that Marjorie, who has been an instigator of a lot of this hate that we see as it relates to the MAGA movement, it's just interesting that I don't know if she really fully understood how bad she was making it for other people. And now that they're doing it to her, I just got to say, well, why is it that everyone else is able to stand and you can't?
The House Oversight Committee, which you are a member of, said Friday night that your committee is expanding its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Do you have any idea?
All I've said is this, boss. We can debate. You talking about crime data and the numbers don't lie. All I'm saying is this. We're talking about the Epstein files and we're talking about protecting pedos and shit. And when we pull up that data, it's by far and large a certain group of people that fall into that pedo category and that child porn category. So how are you going to defend those numbers? Or are you just going to keep trying to shoot shots at me? Defend those numbers. Defend those pedo numbers. I want to hear it.
This expanded investigation might include?
I do not at this point in time. I'll say leadership is keeping it under wraps to make sure that we can hopefully not have many more obstacles. If you'll remember, we decided that we were going to put out a subpoena for Ghislaine Maxwell. And the next thing you know, the president's henchman showed up to her cell. And the next thing you know, we didn't have our sit-down talk with her, which I imagine would have gone a little differently if we had. So we're keeping that tight-lipped for now.
The chairman of the Oversight Committee, James Comer of Kentucky, says that Democrats are just trying to use these files to smear the president. Just to be clear, do you or your colleagues have any idea about what's in these files, one way or the other, relating to Trump or not?
Absolutely not. I mean, here's the reality. If we did have that information, I don't know that we would need it necessarily to be released. And we know that the Republicans keep saying, you know, figure out what it is the Democrats have done and make sure that you can pull out the Democratic stuff and make sure you get rid of all the Republican names. Listen, I don't really care who is in the files. At the end of the day,
that's the thing. A lot of people don't care who's in the files. A lot of people don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. This is mainstream media and these talking heads pushing this. Oh, it's a Democrat hoax. Oh, it's a Republican. We really don't care who is in the files. The only people that's really pushing that, oh, it's this party or oh, that party, is somebody who has to protect something. Whether you're in the files or not, something's being protected. Whether we want to call it a matter of national security, whether we want to call it money, or whether it's something's being protected. You know what I'm saying? That's what all I hear when it's, oh, it's this party, oh, it's that party. Who gives a what party it is? Let's just find out who did this shit, get them the up out of here, and then we can talk about the numbers, man, or who did what.
Right is right, wrong is wrong. And if you are truly about law and order, then we should be looking for who it is that has broken the law and in what ways. And we need to better understand who potentially in government.
Yeah, and Jasmine Crocker was talking about the Jeffrey Epstein dude that was a doctor. I watched his clip too. He went on the news and was like, yeah, I am Jeffrey Epstein, but I had the name before him. Jasmine Crocker pissed me off because she doubled down on it and was like, hey, Jeffrey Epstein, it is what it is. You know, Jasmine Crocker was wrong for doing that shit. He said he would sue her, but he can't sue her because she said it on the congressional floor. So he can't sue her. Yeah, she was dead ass wrong for confusing those two people. And when she had the chance to clear it up, she doubled down and was like, I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Like, come on, man. Like, let's not do that shit. Let's not play with this shit, Jasmine. Let's not do that, Jasmine.
Allowed for a lot of these things to take place, whether we're talking about the fake immigration paperwork that we've heard from a lot of the survivors, whether we're talking about other foreign governments that have participated and who it was that allowed for that, whether we're talking about the sham organizations, the sham modeling agencies that were nothing but a front for trafficking. We need to know whether or not they still exist in some other iteration. This is about not only making sure that the survivors get justice, but making sure that there aren't others that are going through a similar system right now.
There was a back and forth this week after you accused former Republican Congressman, now EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, of accepting campaign donations from Jeffrey Epstein. It turned out it wasn't convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It was a Long Island neurosurgeon, Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, different person. You corrected the record. However, now the neurosurgeon is telling the New York Post that he is threatening revenge against you. He's going to donate to your campaign, so you have to admit you accepted money from a Jeffrey Epstein, if not the Jeffrey Epstein. What's your response to that?
Listen, if there's anybody else who's alive and decides that they want to donate just so that you'll be on my FEC report, I am here for it. I will take your donation, especially since Jeffrey Epstein is now deceased. I don't think that it will be confusing whatsoever that it was not him, unless he's come back from the dead. So we'll see.
So you are, we're told,
all right, boss,
on whether to jump into this Texas Senate race, challenging Republican Senator John Cornyn for his seat, although it's unclear that Cornyn will survive a Republican primary. You said you had a meeting this week with pollsters to discuss your chances. Did you have that meeting, and if so, how did it go? Are you still thinking about running?
I am still thinking about running. We did get our polling back, so we are moving on to the next phase to determine whether or not this is would make sense in the moment, and if the infrastructure can be built out in the way that I see it being necessary to actually be able to win, as well as we are continuing to look at the polling on the other side. Listen, they are in a civil war right now on the Republican side as it relates to who will become their nominee John Cornyn has served the state of Texas for decades at this point in time in some capacity. And right now, I don't know if he's MAGA enough to make it through his primary, but we are evaluating all things and seeing what it would look like to put together a team, and we will make a final decision by Thanksgiving on whether or not we're going to ultimately move forward.
What did the polling information that you got back show? I mean, is it a calculation of whether or not you're going to be facing Cornyn, who might have more appeal to moderates in your state, centrists in your state, as opposed to a more MAGA candidate who potentially defeats Cornyn in the primary that you might, or any Democrat might, have a better chance against?
I'll tell you this, that head-to-head, we are doing really well against Paxton. I will say that. I will also tell you that we are actually within the margin of error as it relates to John Cornyn. So to be perfectly honest, the only reason that I'm continuing to consider whether or not I do this is because my polling says I can win. That is the bottom line. But at the end of the day, a poll is a poll. And so you need to actually be able to execute on that. So whether it's Cornyn or whether it's Paxton, we feel confident that we can get this done. The thing is, we obviously would prefer to have Paxton.
Right.
So what the hell is she finna run for? Attorney General? Or is Paxton out? Paxton's the Attorney General. Is he out? Does he have to leave? Or is he trying to run again? Jasmine Crockett for Attorney General might just be crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that might just be crazy, bro. That might be a little different, Chad. All right, we finna get into the Ukraine peace talks, man. They saying that Trump gave Zelensky a Thursday deadline. Trump gave Zelensky a Thursday deadline, or he said that they can fight their little hearts out, man. End this shit by Thursday or fight your little hearts out.
Top officials from the U.S., Ukraine, Europe, they're meeting in Geneva, Switzerland today, and they're talking about how to end Russia's war on Ukraine.
What's that, the G20?
In South Africa, Ukraine's allies are simultaneously working on a unified response to President Trump's 28-point peace plan, and it's been widely criticized as pro-Russia.
If Ukraine loses this war and possibly collapses, it will have an impact on European politics as a whole, on the entire European continent. And that is why we are so committed to this issue. Because if there's a chance to bring about peace, it will also have an impact on the entire European continent.
And President Trump now insists that the 28-point plan is not his final offer. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, they're expected to join today's talks in Switzerland. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet with President Trump before Thanksgiving. And Zelensky has called this moment one of the most difficult in his country's history. We get more now from CNN's Kevin Liptak.
Good morning, Victor. An intensive stretch of diplomacy is now underway before President Trump's Thursday deadline for Ukraine to agree to this 28-point plan for ending the war. An American delegation...
Oh shit, they want Ukraine to give up some territory. Zelensky finna hold his nuts. I'm calling it now, chat. Zelensky finna come over here and hold his nuts on Trump, bro. The EU better have it together over there, man. They better have their funds and shit together, because Zelensky finna come over here, hold his nuts on Trump, and then Trump finna say, you know what, Zelensky? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're not getting no money. You're not getting no more of this. I hope the EU wish you well. That's what Trump's gonna tell Zelensky, man. And it's gonna be crazy. I don't see Zelensky giving them territories up, bro.
Composed of the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff,
or limiting the size of his military. I believe Ukraine might commit to not joining NATO, maybe. Russia agrees it won't invade neighboring countries. Russian sanctions lifted. Trump seeks to oversee peace council similar to Gaza plan. Maybe. But yeah, nah. I don't think Zelensky. I think Zelensky finna come hold his nuts.
War. An American delegation composed of the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, the American Secretary of State Marco Rubio, now in Switzerland ahead of meetings with Ukrainian officials who hope to put their imprint on this plan, and we understand that meetings with Russian officials will happen shortly thereafter. President Trump said on...
See, I think Putin will agree not to invade any neighboring countries, but Zelensky's not going to accept that. Zelensky's going to be like, he's lying. You know what I'm saying? So even if Putin does agree to not invade neighboring countries or nothing like that, Zelensky's not going to care. You know what I'm saying? He's going to say he's lying.
Saturday that this plan was not his final offer, and I think that will be reassuring in some ways to those who view this 28-point proposal as essentially a Russian wish list. And many of the points do amount to the maximalist demands that the Kremlin has been making over the course of this war, including that Ukraine give up the entire eastern Donbass region, that it put a cap on the size of its military, that it give up some of its long-range weapons capabilities that it's been provided over the course of this war, and that it agree to never join NATO. And so I think the real question now, and it's the question that I posed to President Trump on Saturday, is what happens if Zelensky does not agree to this plan by Thursday? Listen to what he said.
Well, then he can continue to fight his little heart out.
So you hear the president there not saying specifically what the consequences might be for Zelensky not agreeing to this plan, but I think implicit in his answer is that this will then be Zelensky's war and that he will essentially wash his hands of it. Now, European...
Okay, chat, should we give Ukraine more money? Yes or no? Yes or no in the chat? Should we keep supplying Ukraine with weapons and funding? Yes or no in the chat? Should we keep supplying Ukraine with funding? We are 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Thank you, Ronnie. Said, who's talking shit about Lala? Don't make me start. Boss already said he talking shit about Lala.
Leaders have been extremely skeptical.
Lala can defend herself. I mean, if you want to get on boss ass, get on it. But I ain't gonna kick him because shit, if Lala wanted him kicked, he would have been gone. Lala letting him ride.
About this plan. On Saturday, they released a statement saying that it needed additional work and saying that they were in particular concerned about the provisions that would put limitations on Ukraine's armed forces. Even some Republicans here in Washington are voicing concern, including one of the president's top allies in the Senate, the South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who said that parts of this proposal were, quote, very problematic and can be made better. Perhaps blunter was Mitch McConnell, the former Republican leader in the Senate, by no means a fan of President Trump's. He said that, quote, Putin has spent the entire year trying to play President Trump for a fool. Victor?
All right, Kevin Liptak, thank you very much. For more on...
Putin has spent the entire year playing Trump like a fool, and it makes a lot of sense now that we got that email from Mark Epstein saying does Putin still have that picture blowing Bubba, whatever Bubba is, you know, whoever Bubba is, you know what I'm saying? It makes a lot of sense. Now, hey man, it is what it is.
In today's talks and what's at stake, I want to bring in now global affairs analyst Kimberly Dozier. Good to have you in studio. Let's first get your reaction to the president saying that this is not his final offer after making this a pretty hard deadline for Thanksgiving.
You know, he said that on the way to a plane, and it gives him some maneuver room. But let's be clear, what's been put to Ukraine is Russia's wish list. And this seems to have been drafted by Envoy Steve Witkoff together with the Russian negotiator, and not with any Ukrainian input, leaving Kyiv and European officials backpedaling, dismayed. It's as if 6 to 8 months of work trying to convince Trump that he can't reward Putin for aggression has just evaporated.
Yeah, and some of the requirements here would be that Crimea, Luhansk, Donetsk would now be recognized as Russian, even as by the United States.
So I know it's been a big thing. They say Crimea, they want to be Russian, a lot of those people, but what about the other places? Is that entire region wanting to be Russia? I know that was a big topic back on this time last year. Y'all kept saying that a lot of those people want to be Russian. I know y'all speaking specifically on Crimea. So let me know, yes or no in the country, do those groups of people want to be Russian? Do y'all think, in y'all opinion?
Limiting the Ukrainian military at 600,000, they're currently estimated 800,000. A constitutional amendment that they would never seek NATO membership, on and on. It's not clear that Putin would ever sign on to a deal.
True.
But if this is weakened in any way, or one of those requirements is removed, Putin certainly is less likely to sign it then, right?
You know, if Putin would sign a deal at all, this is the deal he would sign. But it has things in it that are poison pills that I can't see President Zelensky swallowing, like giving up any chance of prosecuting Russians for war crimes. And CNN and other outlets have extensively documented the horrific things that have happened that go against the laws of war.
Yeah, double tap the screen, shut a live out, chat. We're chasing 100 likes. That's how you support the channel for free. If everyone could just double tap their screen for me, it would be greatly appreciated. We are 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. But yeah, this is if Zelensky agrees to this deal, Zelensky will be tried for war crimes. Zelensky's out. They will probably vote Zelensky out. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Zelensky, war comes to an end. They'll be able to hold a vote. Maybe Zelensky's out. I don't know, Chad. A lot of people said that he would be out, but now he's fighting. You know, he's been, you know what I'm saying, a boot out there in the black army fatigues coming over here, you know what I'm saying what he need. Maybe he's out, you know what I'm saying? If he is out, yeah, Zelensky they want Zelensky for some war crimes, just like they want Putin for some war crimes, just like Mom Donnie said if Netanyahu come over here, they finna arrest his ass.
Against Ukrainian civilians, things like massacres of Bucha, etc. So between that and leaving Ukraine essentially defenseless, what they're asking Ukraine to do is what it did when it gave up its nuclear weapons, and in return got a piece of paper that said Russia would never attack, and if it did, the West would drive Russia out and defend Ukraine. Well, it didn't happen in 2022. European nations are still afraid to put their troops on Ukrainian soil for fear they trigger a nuclear conflagration with Russia. So putting that kind of guarantee in this 28-point deal, again, is no guarantee of Ukraine's security.
Yeah, it didn't happen in 2014 with the annexation of Crimea then either. I think we...
Come on now, Mama Money. I'm from America, and a lot of Americans go to Mexico for vacation, but that don't mean they want to be Mexican. I'm just going to keep it real. A lot of Americans carry their ass to Mexico for vacation, but they damn sure don't want to be Mexican. So just because Ukrainians vacation in Russia don't necessarily mean they want to be Russian.
We have President Zelensky speaking for himself and reacting to this. Let's play that.
Національний український інтерес має бути врахований.
The national Ukrainian interest must be taken into account. We are not making loud statements. We will calmly work with America and all partners. There will be a constructive search for solutions with our main partner. I will present arguments, I will convince, and offer alternatives. But we will definitely not give the enemy a reason to say that Ukraine does not want peace, that it is they disrupting the process, and that Ukraine is not ready for diplomacy.
What influence do you think the European allies of Ukraine have over the deal that will eventually be presented or be the starting point for negotiations?
I think what you're going to have to see going forward is the British Prime Minister, the French President, the Finnish President.
You said we had several conversations with the people. Some say they live better. I was surprised, but Core wasn't. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. I do believe it's Americans that want to be Mexican if you ask them, but when it's times to come put pen on paper and go back to Mexico or go to Mexico for the first time, I don't think they'd be really trying to do that, man. I'm just going to be real.
Getting on the phone with Trump and selling him on this is bad, this is dangerous for us, and here's why. And trying to explain to him the history of when Russia gets a piece of something, like what it's done to the country of Georgia, once it gets a foothold, then it uses that area to spread influence, buy politicians off, and eventually you get a situation like Belarus, where the government is working in lockstep with Moscow, has no choice. That could be Ukraine's fate if this deal were allowed to go forward. And
chat, I seen a thing too to where
I forgot what country it is. I think their flag is like light blue, but they're teaching their kids in school how to identify propaganda. Like, while our kids over here worrying about if they're going to be able to be a furry or if they have to write in cursive or not, their kids are already taking courses to be able to identify propaganda because they say Russian propaganda is so prevalent in their area.
It's also a signal to Russia, when you attack, you can win. And countries like Estonia, etc., in the Baltics, that Putin has recently threatened to invade and take back, they're saying, you know, we're next if you allow something like this to move forward.
Yeah, and there is that deadline that's coming. The president was asked if the U.S. will withdraw military support. He said at that point they can fight their little hearts out. My question is this going to be a request to sign a deal or request to sign a document as a starting point for negotiations? Because that's important, what they're asking him to sign.
I think what you have in this meeting happening in Geneva, you've got skilled negotiators like Marco Rubio who know Ukraine could sign something that says this is a starting point, so you can get everyone in the room. They can't sign the deal as is because it's tantamount to giving up. Zelensky would lose his office in any next election, and Ukraine wouldn't be long for this world as an independent entity if they signed up to all of these various things that would leave them hobbled and also hobble Europe's ability to protect Ukraine in future.
Just a few days out from the deadline, we'll see what comes out of Geneva. Kimberly, thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. They talking about Trump also trying to overthrow Maduro, but like when she said that Zelensky will be out immediately, that's exactly why I'm telling y'all he's going to come over here. He's supposed to meet with Trump, I believe, before Thanksgiving. He's going to come over and hold his nuts on Trump. He's going to be a little respectful, but he's going to hold his nuts on Trump.
Joining you now is the mayor-elect of New York City.
He's going to say exactly what he's been saying this whole time. It's like, I don't have any concessions, man. Like, we're not giving up our land. We chose sovereignty, and we're going to keep our sovereignty. Giving up these 3 or 4 territories does not sound like keeping our sovereignty. Like, what's going on? And on top of that, he has a lot more incentive to do that because he's going to be voted out more than likely if the war comes to an end, and his ass is going to be charged for war crimes, man. You think Putin them not? Listen, man. They finna try to get his ass up out of there. Now they talking about Trump's looking at trying to do covert operations to overthrow Maduro. Y'all know what that mean, man. They finna try to kill his ass. I mean, I ain't mean to say it like that. Excuse me. Sorry, YouTube. They finna try to unalive his ass, man. Straight up. When you hear about some covert operations to overthrow Maduro, just know that they got a bounty on that man head, man. They finna get him up out of here, man. They finna get him up out of here, man. It wouldn't be the first time something like that went on, man. We gonna have some damn Maduro files in about 20, 30 years about how they went over there, and ain't no telling how they finna try to wipe Maduro ass down, man. They want him out of there. When they talking about covert operations to overthrow him, just know that they want him pushing daisies. They want that man pushing daisies. Straight up.
Goran Mamdani, Mr. Mayor-elect, welcome back to Meet the Press, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be back.
Well, it is wonderful to have you here in person, fresh off of you.
This is Mamdani. He's saying he does still think Trump is a fascist. This is after the Trump meeting. You know, this is an interview he did after the Trump meeting. If y'all like Mamdani, let me know if y'all like Mamdani or not in the chat. If y'all like him or not. Put yes or no in the chat if y'all like Mamdani or if y'all don't like him.
Your first meeting with President Donald Trump. He praised you. He even said you could do a great job as mayor despite months of a bitter back and forth. Were you surprised by the warm...
Yeah, I interact with my chat, but right now I'm talking. I don't have time to just stop and do everything. You know what I'm saying? If you got a membership, your chat name is green. I see it a little bit better. If you got a mod wrench, it's blue. I see it a little bit better. If you throw a super chat out there, it get real big. You know what I'm saying? So I damn sure see it. What Apostle Effect? You said worthless stream. Everybody tell Apostle Effect that we'll see them later. You know what I'm saying? Like Apostle Effect, you can pick up those
You can pick up those thong flip-flops on your way out, man. We're going to get the apostle effect up out of here, chat. He's going to pick up his thong flip-flops and he's going to go cry in the fucking corner because that's what he wants to do. He wanted some attention, so we're going to give him attention. Everybody wave bye to the apostle effect, and he can come back in here on another account. Show me how much you really love me, man. We don't deal with cake-ass shit over here.
That you got?
You know, I was looking forward to having a meeting with the president to speak about the needs of the 8.5 million people who call the same city we love home, and to speak, frankly, about the affordability crisis that is pushing so many of them out of those 5 boroughs. And I found in the meeting that I had with the president a productive one, and a meeting that came back again and again to the central theme.
Thank you, CC.
The cost of housing, the cost of childcare, the cost of groceries, the cost of utilities. And it showed that this is an opportunity to now start to deliver so that people can do more than just aspire to struggle in New York City, but actually to be able to live there.
But did you expect it to be so chummy? What was going through your head when you were standing there?
You know, I thought again and again about what it would mean for New Yorkers if we could establish a productive relationship that would focus on the issues that those New Yorkers stay up late at night thinking about. Because so often in our politics, we try and tell people what they should be worried about, what they should be concerned.
Man, it's no way Meet the Press got Mom Donnie microphone like this. It's no way that's NBC. It's no way NBC and Meet the Press got Mom Donnie's microphone like this. Like, come on, Mom Donnie. I would have gave you a better mic than that, man. Damn, we could have talked straight through the laptop and got a better sound than this.
When you actually ask New Yorkers, you listen to them, you hear it come back to the issues that animated not just the conversation the president and I had with the press after our meeting, but frankly in the meeting itself. It was a conversation where we spoke about the need to deliver on this agenda, and I appreciated that when the president, when we had that meeting, it wasn't just in the Oval Office, he also took me into the cabinet room, and there we were looking at portraits of presidents of years gone by, and we admired a portrait of FDR. And in many ways, when I think about the
I wonder what he said when he saw that picture of Joe Biden auto pen. Were you in there looking at the presidential pictures and you just came across Joe Biden auto pen? Like, what happened, man? What happened? Nobody said anything to Trump about Biden's auto pen. I don't know, man. Mom Donnie, man, let's see what you said about that auto pen, man, that auto pen picture.
Candidacy that we've put forward, it looks to Theodore LaGuardia as the greatest mayor in New York City history. You can't tell the story of LaGuardia without telling the story of FDR and the story of a relationship with the federal government that finally delivered at the scale of the crisis it was facing.
Well, prior to your meeting, I don't have to tell you this, President Trump repeatedly threatened to cut off federal funding to New York if you won. The president seemed to back away from that yesterday, though, in his public comments in that joint news conference that you all did. He said, I don't think that's going to...
I'm more worried about this. Tamara says, did y'all see how he spoke so gently during his run? And when he won, screaming, angry face showed up creepy. Yes, thank you, CC. I did see that. But did you see who was behind him at that rally? Like, you got to look and see who was behind him at that rally. Just go back to that rally that you're talking about and look who was on the front row and front 2 rows, man. Mom Donnie was amped up out there, man. He had a battery in his back. Let's just say it like that. But as far as what I'm more worried about with Mom Donnie is this. Yes, it's probably better for New Yorkers that Trump and Mom Donnie maintain a working business relationship. But Mom Donnie said that he was going to be Trump's worst nightmare. Worst nightmare, right? Now we see him, you know what I'm saying, in the Oval Office like shit, it is what it is. We agree on a lot more than we did. We knew Trump had it in him. You know what I'm saying? Trump already said he'll work. If you read his book, he said he'll work with enemies or whatever. Let bygones be bygones to get, some shit accomplished. I thought Mom Donnie was going to stand on business. I'm just going to keep it real. I thought Mom Donnie was going to stand on business. Now, what was he saying? He was talking, it was Cuomo, Mom Donnie, and Swilya, right? Mom Donnie said that he was gonna, be Trump's worst nightmare. Silva said that he was gonna work with Trump, and Cuomo said he was gonna stand up to Trump. And remember, Swilya said, "No, you won't, Cuomo," and they didn't even really talk about Mom Donnie because he was new. That's just everything. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, bro.
I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. Do you believe him when he says that?
No, I believe the president in the conversation that we had, and I will continue to make the case, both to the president and to the country at large, about the needs of New Yorkers. Because what I found, frankly, is that New Yorkers have grown tired of being asked to believe in a system that has delivered very little for them. They're tired of a politics that expects everything from them while delivering little. And what they want now is a politics that can see the scale of the crisis in front of it and actually start to work together to deliver on that.
You know, you ran a campaign, though, saying that President Trump had not delivered on his promise of affordability. Did anything that happened in that meeting make you think, yes, he can deliver on that promise for Americans, for New Yorkers?
Well, I spoke to the president about the fact that while our campaign technically began on October 23rd last year, for many people, they became aware of it after the president won his election. And when I went out and spoke to New Yorkers, asking them who did they vote for and why, in two neighborhoods that swung most significantly towards the president. This was Fordham Road in the Bronx, Hillside Avenue in Queens. And I shared with the president that when I asked those New Yorkers why did they vote for the president, they told me again and again it was cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And when the president and I were speaking, we were speaking about what is preventing from delivering on that affordability agenda. Sometimes it's a lack of taking on the broken system that we have, and I spoke about in New York City, for example, zoning regulations. We spoke about ULURP. This is a process by which you either approve or deny zoning changes that are made in New York City. We spoke about the need to change so many of those situations such that a developer doesn't tell you the thing more expensive than labor or materials is waiting. And we also spoke about the importance of understanding what it is that hurts New Yorkers in their pockets. It's their rent, it's their childcare, it's their utilities, and it's their...
It's everything. Everything in New York is high. What do you mean? It's like, I just seen a guy go order 2 pizzas. It was like $100. He paid like $100 for 2 pizzas in New York, and they wasn't even extra large. He got like 2 medium pizzas. It was $100, bro. $100.
For childcare. Because the childcare
I would have went and got a Red Baron. If they would have brought me out a tab for $100 for 2 medium pizzas, man, I would have said, I'm sorry, sir, but I will shop with Red Baron, man. I would have got that Red Baron, man, and threw it in the oven, man, for a hot $10, man, 2 for $10.
I say twice because it is the second highest cost after housing, $22,500 a year for a single child.
Well, let me ask you about the other threat that we heard from President Trump to send troops to New York City to address issues of crime and immigration. We've seen him do this in other major cities. Did you get any assurances in your meeting, Mayor-elect Mamdani, that President Trump will not send troops into New York?
I told the president that the cornerstone of an affordability agenda is public safety, and that it is critically important to me. And for all that has been said and all that has been spoken about, and the tens of millions of dollars looking to make New Yorkers fearful of that question, the truth of it is, in fact, that I'm looking forward to working with the NYPD to deliver on that. And I shared with the president that...
Nah, New York's not the only hard place to live. I'm going to keep it real. It's not just cheap down where I'm at in Texas. It's not just cheap. Arkansas has a lower cost of living, but everything is high. The cities are crazy though, like Miami and things of those. The cost of living is high, but also it's what you get as well. Like, you're not getting as much bang for your buck, but a lot of people don't care because they want to be in the city. They want to be able to have access to everything they need within 1 or 2 blocks. You know what I'm saying? You can do that in the city. In the country or where I'm from, the woods, like, that's not a reality. You're not going to have access to everything you need in 2 blocks, but you do get more bang for your buck. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, you get more bang for your buck. How much the average rent in New York is, like $2,700 or something like that, I think. I'm just gonna keep it real. Arkansas, Texas, you paying $2,000-3,000 and you just not smack in the city. $2,000-3,000. Oh, you in a luxury condo, or you got a big house, 2-story house, pool in the backyard, 3 stacks a month. Where I'm from, I'm just gonna keep it real with you, Chad. For rent. Now I'm not only now for rent. $3,000 a month. You gonna have some shit.
That my decision to retain Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch is in large part a recognition of the fact that in her time leading the NYPD, she has driven down crime across the...
What's up, Jace?
Corruption that was endemic in the top echelons of that department under Mayor Adams.
And I'm going to follow up with you on your decision to keep Commissioner Tisch. But to this core question that I think so many New Yorkers are curious to know the answer to, what did President Trump say to you? Did he assure you he will not send troops into New York?
He told me that he cared deeply about public safety. I said I cared deeply
about
the same.
Send troops?
What I told him is that what separates New York City from anywhere else in the country is we have the NYPD. and I trust the NYPD to deliver public safety. And to me, that is something that I know that they can do, that they have done, and they will continue to do under my leadership.
So you didn't rule it out in your meeting?
I made it very clear what we wanted to do was to deliver public safety and affordability, and the NYPD would be the ones to do so.
In that press conference with President Trump, a reporter asked you whether you believe that President Trump is in fact a fascist, a word that you've used in the past. You were about to answer, then President Trump sort of jumped in and he said, quote, "That's okay, you can just say yes. It's easier than explaining it." So, Mr. Mayor-elect, just to be very clear, do you think that President Trump is a fascist?
And after President Trump said that, I said yes. And
so you do?
And that's something that I've said in the past, I say it today, and I think what I appreciated about the conversation that I had with the president was that we were not shy about the places of disagreement, about the politics that has brought us to this moment, and we also wanted to focus on what it could look like to deliver on a shared analysis of an affordability crisis for New Yorkers.
You've also said in the past that President Trump has engaged in a, quote, attack on our democracy. You've called him a despot. Do you still believe President Trump is a threat to the democracy?
Everything that I've said.
Yeah, Chak, because this is going to be real pivotal. Trump just had the meeting with Mamdani. I'm looking right now, getting updates that they're saying ICE operations are planned for New York City. So right after the meeting with Mamdani, Trump's already got ICE out there operating in New York City right now as we speak. Then I see another clip saying Mamdani has a lot of answering to do once he's back in New York. You know what I'm saying? So Mamdani's got a lot of shit. He just met with Trump. Trump might have just pulled the damn plug on him. Trump might have just pulled the plug on him, got him up there, got him to say that they agree on a lot more than they disagree on. They want to save New York, and now he got ICE operations in the city right now. Everybody in the city finna blame Mamdani for this shit and say Mamdani colluded with Trump. Oh shit, this is finna get crazy, bro. I mean, not saying that it's crazy that ICE operations are happening in New York. It's the timing of it. It's the timing of it.
To believe, and that's the thing that I think is important in our politics, is that we don't shy away from where we have disagreements, but we understand what it is that brings us to that table. Because I'm not coming into the Oval Office to make a point or make a stand. I'm coming in there to deliver for New Yorkers. And a few weeks ago, I was asked by a reporter 3 words to describe myself. I said, New York City. And that's what animated that conversation. How do we deliver for the people of New York City?
I think that some of your supporters would be curious to know. You say you stand by your past statements that, yes, he's a threat to the democracy. How do you square working with someone who you still think is a threat to the democracy?
I think working for the people of New York City demands that you work with everyone.
Somebody in the chat let Ronnie know he watching way behind.
Those areas of agreement while not overlooking the places of disagreement. And I think this was something that came up in our meeting. We spoke about immigration. We spoke about the fact that in New York City we have sanctuary city policies that allow for the city to work with the federal government on around 170 serious crimes. The concern for so many New Yorkers comes about anything beyond that. And I spoke about the importance of us being able to protect New Yorkers, and some of the incidents that we see, they do not do that.
It's the issue of sanctuary cities. So I want to speak to you more broadly about the issue of immigration. This is one that is so critical to New York, the rest of the country as well. One of your top supporters, Senator Bernie Sanders, recently weighed in on President Trump's record at managing the border. He compared it to former President Biden. I want you to take a listen to what he had to say. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Trump did a better job. I don't like Trump, but secure border, and it ain't that hard to do. Biden didn't do it. Those before him did not do it. We should have a secure border, period.
Do you agree with Senator Bernie Sanders that President Trump has done a better job securing the border than former President Biden?
I haven't thought much about comparing presidents on the question of securing the border. I think it's important that it's secure, and I also think it's important that we have an immigration system that is humane. And that's what I spoke about with the president, is that New Yorkers want to see humanity in the policies that are being implemented.
Do you give President Trump some credit for the work that he's done to make the border, in Senator Sanders' estimation, more secure?
What I give President Trump credit for is the meeting that we had yesterday was one that was focused on how we could work together for New Yorkers. And the place that we could do so most effectively, frankly, is ensuring every New Yorker can afford the city they call home.
Well, you take me to my next question, which is about really the central issue of your campaign, affordability. You have said that you want to raise $9 billion in new taxes, increasing taxes on the wealthy, on businesses, in order to fund your key policies like universal child care, which you mentioned. You would need Governor Kathy Hochul to be on board with this. You need her signature. She has never publicly committed to increasing taxes. I know you just spoke with her. Mr. Mayor-elect, did Governor Hochul commit to you that she will support and sign on to your plan to increase taxes?
The governor and I had a productive conversation, and what we both committed to is working together for the affordability agenda. And one thing I appreciate of the many about
Appreciate that. What's up, Shepard? Yeah, I don't know about how the governor and Mamdani's gonna work together on that billion. Though I'm just gonna be real. Like, I don't think the governor's gonna give Mamdani too much support. She might just be like, "Hey, go do it." You know what I'm saying? But as far as facilitating anything for him to acquire that $9 billion, I don't think she's gonna be too on board with that shit. I'm just gonna be real.
About Governor Hochul is that she's been focused not just on affordability, but specifically on universal child care for quite some time. And now is the time to bring a partner forward in City Hall. And I've said plainly and openly that I believe that these are two tax proposals that make sense, increasing the personal income taxes on New Yorkers making $1 million or more by just 2%, increasing the top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey. And what I've also said is more important than how we fund something is that we fund something. And if there are additional or alternate revenue streams to do so, I will accept them and I will celebrate them, because the most important thing is to actually deliver for the New Yorkers who right now can't even conceive of having a family in New York City because of how expensive we've made childcare across the five boroughs.
Well, and your entire agenda is incredibly ambitious: universal child care, free buses, among other things, lowering rent. Can you deliver on this agenda without Governor Hochul agreeing to increase taxes?
Well, I'm thankful that I'm not going to have to engage in the hypothetical, because I am confident of the two of us working together to deliver on this agenda and ensure that finally, and this goes back to just that portrait of FDR, we look at what politics has been in the past. It has been, in the moments of such transformation, meeting the scale of the crisis. We can do that again.
So just yes or no, you think she'll raise taxes?
I think she'll work with me to deliver on affordability. I think raising taxes make the most sense. If there's any alternative to raise the same amount of money, I'm open.
All right, let's talk about another major issue, which you referenced: policing.
So many major issues.
Crime. There are a lot of major issues, I know. 5 years ago, you were calling for defunding the police. Now you are in charge of the largest police department in the country. You have tapped Commissioner Jessica Tisch to stay on in her job. She has accepted. She wants to put thousands more police officers on the streets of New York. Will you do that, Mr. Mayor-elect?
I've said over the course of the campaign that I think the number we've had budgeted of 35,000 officers is a sufficient number. What we have to do, however, is allow those officers to focus on policing. And what I mean by that is that in 2020, the response time for the NYPD was less than 11 minutes. Today, it's closer to 16 minutes. A large part of that is because officers are now having to deal with 200,000 mental health calls a year. And so our proposal is create a Department of Community Safety, task it with the mental health crisis, the homelessness crisis, and allow officers to focus on serious crimes so we can get back to the work of delivering on this, as opposed to being trapped in a political discourse.
What up, Sid?
But you know, violent crime is substantially down under Commissioner Tisch's watch. Do you acknowledge that her approach is working, and therefore do you need to listen to her when she says, I need more cops on the street?
The reason I made the decision to retain Commissioner Tisch is because of the importance of outcomes. The fact that she has been able to deliver on rooting out corruption while lowering crime is something to be celebrated. And I think the Commissioner and I have been very clear that what brings us together is a shared importance of public safety. I think we can do that with the officers we have.
Would you rule out putting more police officers on the street?
What I will tell you is that the 35,000 we have budgeted, that's the amount that I think we need.
Okay. Let me ask you, again, just going back to that press conference with President Trump, as reporters were leaving, you were answering a question that I think was hard for a lot of people to hear about your response to protests outside of a Manhattan synagogue. Your initial response to that incident did receive some criticism, as you know. What is your message to Jewish New Yorkers who feel you won't be tough enough in your response to anti-Semitic incidents?
That I'm looking forward to being the next mayor of New York City and fulfilling the commitment I've made to Jewish New Yorkers over the course of this campaign, which is a commitment to not only protect them across the five boroughs, but to celebrate and cherish them. And what that looks like is rooting out anti-Semitism. It looks like increasing funding for hate crime prevention programs by 800%. And it also looks like ensuring that we have NYPD protection.
It's like, damn, Donnie, like, dude, you won. Like, you're not on the campaign trail no more. Like, you can talk like a regular guy. Like, it's the way he's, like, Donnie's, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't been in office yet. He's not even there yet. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully he does great things. But he still sound like he in campaign mode. Like, damn, dude, you know what I'm saying? This is my, you know what I'm saying? Like, just talk, dude.
Outside of synagogues and temples, especially on the high holy days. And I want to just say, recently on Yom Kippur, there was a horrific anti-Semitic attack in Manchester. A rabbi in New York City reached out to me and said, could you ensure that there's additional police protection outside of the synagogue for today? I said, absolutely. And I also asked, what if that rabbi did not know the next mayor of New York City? We have to make it so that it doesn't matter who you know. It matters that you will get that safety and security because you're a New Yorker. That's the administration I'm going to put together.
All right, I do want to talk a little bit about the future of the Democratic Party. A number of Republicans are casting you as the face of the Democratic Party. Mr. Mayor-elect, I wonder, do you think that Democratic socialists can win across the country in battleground states, for example?
I think a focus on the importance of dignity for working people is something that appeals to people across this country. I will not venture into the world of national politics and punditry, but what I will tell you is that in New York City, we saw so many of the same dynamics we'd seen elsewhere. We'd seen a shift towards the right. We'd seen obituaries being written about the Democratic Party's ability to speak to young people, to speak to Asian voters, speak especially to young men. And I actually shared this with the president, that the very constituencies that he had won over, that were a critical part of his increased vote share in New York City, were the ones that we then looked at as who we should focus on to bring back into the party. And I think that when you speak to those constituencies with the same respect you speak to any other, you will see that they will then engage in the process. We saw an increase in voter turnout amongst 18 to 29-year-olds by more than 300%. And that's because we spoke to them as New Yorkers who are facing an affordability crisis, not as...
That's the algorithms right there, man. Straight up, that's the algorithms. You know, the algorithms it was trendy to, you know what I'm saying, vote. Before, y'all got to understand that before, we're in a different part of social media. We had, you know, just the Facebooks, you know what I'm saying, days, and then you had the stickers to go out and vote, stickers and shit. Now, then you had influencers with social media, with the influencers, you know what I'm saying? They were out there telling people to go vote. Now it's the algorithm carrying it. It's interest media, man. It's the algorithm carrying it, man. These kids got getting caught in them algorithms, or they're young adults and shit, and now they're more inclined to go vote. 300% increase, you know what I'm saying? You are 35 years old, like you was hitting the algorithms. Y'all knew what to do. The Republicans did it the last election cycle. You did it in New York, you know what I'm saying? Y'all figuring this shit out.
Young people we have to finger wag to participate in democracy.
Two more quick questions. If Democrats win the midterms, do you want to see Leader Jeffries become the Speaker of the House?
Yes.
Okay. That was a firm, quick answer. So you leave plenty of time for my final answer.
Let me go back and give a little more.
Look, former President Obama called you after your victory, and he offered to be a sounding board for you as you take on this role of mayor of New York City. What advice did he give you about how to lead effectively in these years ahead?
You know, one thing I really appreciated about the conversations I've had with the president have been the importance of what it looks like, not only to inspire hope, but to sustain it and then to deliver on it. And time again, that comes back to the city hall that you're putting together. And even right now, we have about 40 odd days of a transition. Transitions are typically a time of pageantry and pomp. We want it to be a time of substance, a time of purpose. And so we ensured that the first day after the election, we announced our 4 incredible co-chairs of our transition, our executive director. And then the week after that, the first deputy mayor, the chief of staff. We're moving much faster than typical because we want January 1st to be a day where we start to deliver, not start to prepare. And I appreciate President Obama's emphasis of what it looks like to prepare in advance so that you can deliver.
All right, Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani, thank you so much.
All right, chat, that was Mamdani's interview. Now, after that interview, after he met with Trump, this is what's going on in New York City right now. So they saying Mamdani got some decisions to make now. Like, is he going to be quiet or what?
Set to ramp up New York City. This is part of President Trump's plan to launch that immigration crackdown targeting major cities like we've seen already: Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C. News Nation's Marcus Espinoza is live for us in Manhattan this morning. Marcus, this isn't the first time ICE officials have been in the city, but what can we expect this time around?
Hey, Brooke, good morning. Yeah, you mentioned it. Not the first time they've been here on Canal Street. This place is linked to vendors here selling those knockoff handbags, any sort of designer clothing or bag that folks like to pick up on the cheap there. This street is known for that. This is also a place where police and immigration enforcement have had a heavy presence. We expect that to happen once again because of the border czar Tom Homan announcing that announcement that they will be once again in New York City here and will be cracking down on immigration here. This is something that they've made extremely clear and something they're planning on doing because New York City is a self-described sanctuary city. And Tom Homan said this is a place where they are going to focus their efforts on because of that, and that this is a place that deserves that particular attention, trying to crack down on illegal immigrants, especially with those with criminal backgrounds. Last time they were here, 9 arrests were made. A majority of those individuals were from West Africa. Meanwhile, the New York Immigration Coalition released footage this week of an ICE raid on a home in Queens that happened on November 13th. The organization claims the agents did not identify themselves or provide a warrant, and then pointed guns at a mom and her 4 children. They also say ICE was looking for a person who did not live at that address. DHS denies they did anything wrong here. 911 calls were made because neighbors thought this was actually a home invasion, which led to confusion where 2 NYPD officers were suffered minor injuries in that particular scuffle there as well. So the recent raid in the home in Queens has raised questions about the conduct there of ICE agents, and so if that presence increases again here, certainly a concern for residents, Brooke.
And Marcus, New Yorkers were bracing for what could happen in that meeting between President Trump and Mayor-elect Mamdani. Illegal immigration was also a major talking point between the two of them. What are New Yorkers saying about that this morning?
Brooke, you did a great job covering it this morning, and it's really surprising. I think everybody has that same reaction from that meeting between the two, and I think it's just fascinating to look at from a macro perspective, but they actually agreed on quite a bit, and I think that's the surprising part. They agreed on the fact that crime is an issue, and it's something that they want to take care of, also both individually and then together. Which is funny because in the past, the president has threatened to withhold funding from the city.
What's up, DT?
Was elected, and then in return, Mamdani has been a vocal critic of ICE's expanded raids in the sanctuary city, as well as the administration's surge in deportations. Though the two did not get into details of their discussions, they did seem to agree that tackling crime was indeed a major goal.
The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
What we did is we discussed crime, more than ICE per se. We discussed
What's
crime.
up, John Gotti?
He doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime, and I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue.
Brooke, they made it clear that they agree on proposals of one another, and also Trump said that he would feel comfortable living in New York City under this new administration, even as a billionaire.
Okay, Marcus Espinosa, live for us in Manhattan this morning. Marcus, thanks so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
Damn, that started the hell out of me, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. All right, we finna move on to the gun debate, man. Pro guns, or do we need gun reform, man? Pro guns or anti guns?
That the citizens
and like Reddit spaces, harder to purchase firearms saves like.
To think that the citizens in any way are ever going to be able to defend against a tyrannical government thanks to the Second Amendment, that's just not realistic.
Everybody wants to talk about what our founding fathers would say, but I honestly think if they woke up today, they'd be pissed.
As someone who has like experienced the trauma of a school shooting, and like cameras and stuff leave after like 2 weeks.
Welcome to Counterpoint, the show where real people with opposing beliefs sit down and have honest
trauma of like a school shooting, and like seeing cameras and stuff like leave after like 2 weeks, and as someone who's seen how it affects everything after those 2 weeks, like the biggest thing in my head is I don't want more people to experience what I experienced and like my community experienced, and if like harder to purchase firearms saves like a single person from experiencing like the things that like my community experienced and like my town experienced, and like to me that would be worth it. I understand that people feel very differently than I do, and that's fine, but like that's just my point of view as like a person that's like experienced like the things I have.
Countries that implement like stricter gun laws have less gun deaths and less gun violence like overall. So I think we could like follow suit, because there's a mass shooting, a school shooting every other week, and we all just scroll past it.
Hey chat, we're 14 subscribers away from the next goal. Be sure, I know a lot of you guys come in here and forget to subscribe, man, and then y'all be like, dang, how did I get back in here? Just subscribe to the channel, put notifications on. We go live every single day over here talking politics, entertainment, and current events, man. Please subscribe to the channel. Oh, and let me know if you're pro guns or let me know in the chat. It's 3 categories. Are you pro guns, just straight pro guns? Do you think we need gun reform, or are you anti-guns? So pick one of the 3: pro-gun, gun reform, or anti-guns.
It's like, so it happens so often here that we're all desensitized to it, and at some point we need to recognize that it is a problem and we actually do need to do something about it.
How about you?
Yeah, I feel like we should probably, number one, have stricter but also much more training around those that do own guns. That's kind of where I feel like the gun reform should go, that there should be much higher bars to prove your competence with a firearm before you're allowed to use one. I like to think of a country like Switzerland, where everybody has mandated military service and then everyone owns a firearm, but they've been officially trained on it by their military service. They know how to safely store, handle all of it, and I feel like we're pretty Wild West on who we allow to have a gun. We don't know if they pass the checks that we have right now, we don't know that they actually know how to use it, how to do anything with it, and I feel like that's where we have room to really help improve things in this country, is teaching people the proper ways to have firearms.
Okay, I think that's a good time now to bring in everyone that disagrees. I mean, if you don't think it should be harder, maybe do you guys think it's already too hard?
Question. That's a question. So there's already over 20,000 gun laws in the United States. For instance, Chicago is one of the strictest states. It's not the top. It's like 3. I might be misquoting that. But the gun homicide rate there is 4 times higher than the national average, and it's still overly strict. So I mean, how do stricter gun laws really do anything?
15-round mag. Yeah. Max you can have. Yeah.
What's the max, like a standard max?
10. For Colorado.
Yeah. 10.
10. Okay. California, 10. I think it's...
Arkansas, you can have whatever you want. You want to throw a 30 in that bad boy, you got a 30. You want to put a 50 round on it, you got a 50. I used to ride around with a whole 100, chat. Whole 100, you know what I'm saying? Back before I got my gun rights taken and all that. Had a whole 100, man. I had a FN with 30 in it, man. Then I had a Drake with 75, man.
It's one of those things where, you know, as an educator, I was in education for 10 years. I had to go through NICS background checks and all of that to get my teaching license. You're not allowed to teach kids without some background checks. But you go through just as much of a background check every single time you buy a firearm. You go through an FBI NICS check. So if you have any kind of violent history, anything that could come up, mental illness charges, whatever. Domestic. Well, that's a big one. You're going to get denied right then and there. Or you'll be put on a wait, and then they'll review it, actually take some time to look through what your case actually said. Then they'll either deny you, or they'll say, oh, you know, maybe it came up as this, but they weren't the one responsible, etc. But the FBI usually is the big one that everybody kind of turns to for background checks. So it's the same way every time you buy a firearm, unless you're doing a person-to-person sale, in which case, if I'm selling to you or any one of our wonderful contestants on the other side, I have to be totally...
I'm going to keep it real. That 75 kept me from getting robbed a few times too, man. Now, I know y'all going to say I shouldn't have been in places where I could get robbed, but I'm going to keep it real. I was in a parking garage one time. I was just getting ready to park the car, you know, and I could tell what was going on, you know what I'm saying? I could kind of tell, like, these, you know what I'm saying, like, they just sitting here, you know what I'm saying? So I get out the car, and they finna get out the car, boy, but I was putting my Drake
I was putting it in the trunk, put my Drake in the trunk because I had my FN on me, man. Them boys looked at me and kept it pushing. They knew it was finna be a shootout in there, boy. They knew it was finna be a shootout. That's when I used to wear jewelry, chat. I don't wear jewelry anymore. As I got older, I just quit. But I used to wear jewelry, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, they was trying to get down on me.
Responsible for what you're going to do with that. Like if I sell you, Ryan, a shotgun, even if it's like, yeah, go out and, you know, hunt geese with it or do whatever you want. If you use that against somebody and the serial number comes back to me that I sold you that gun, it's on me. I will catch charges for that. I will be in trouble for that.
No way, like you can't transfer it?
You can. You can go through an FFL and do it that way, and then they get a background check. But most people who sell privately are not going to sell it to somebody they don't know.
It's not like selling your couch.
No. I have never met a single person that did not sell a gun to someone privately that they did not fully know them, fully know their background, and trust them implicitly. And most people still go to an FFL and do the background check anyway.
We see at least 10 of them a day, which is highly recommended.
Yes, very much.
Very recommended.
Unless it's family or somebody that you know intimately their history, you do not want to risk your own legal status.
And with serial numbers and everything.
Yeah.
Take a picture of their ID, you make sure. And being an FFL, a gun store owner and a gun retailer and a firearms manufacturer, I can tell you that getting a firearm is an FBI check every time. Even when you go and
Chad, have y'all ever been in a shootout like with live rounds, Chad? Have y'all ever been in a shootout? Or that shit's a little different, you know what I'm saying? Being in a shootout is a little different. I don't know if y'all have been in a shootout before.
you get a permit, a handgun permit to purchase handguns in the state of Iowa, the sheriff handles that. The sheriff then reaches out to the FBI, the same FBI that your local FFL uses. It's all the same system, the FBI NICS check. We are doing the same checks that the sheriff's office uses on you to check and give you that permit. So you're getting a background check with any handgun, with any firearm purchase, even right out the gate by getting a permit. And even though you're not buying a firearm, you're getting a background check just to get the permit to buy a firearm. And then if you don't have a permit and you come to the store and you pick out a gun, you are now filling out a 23 question, 2 pages.
Yeah, when I get my gun rights back, I'm going straight to get a 1911. I don't want nothing else. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, Chad. Listen, man. I'm going to get a 1911. That's one gun that I have not had and I want it. I'm going to get a 1911 off the rip, off the muscle, man. Go and get it. Day one.
Of forms. If you are, it even asks you if you're addicted to marijuana or you smoke marijuana, you don't get a firearm. So even though you haven't committed no violent crimes, get cool, you might do some gummies. Guess what? No gun. You got mental illness, depression. You go to the doctor for it, get some medicine. Your doctor logs that in your chart. No firearm. Just be depression. It could be mental.
It's not like that in Arkansas here. You can't have a concealed license, but you can still open carry in Arkansas if you got a medical marijuana.
Mental illness. That's more.
You just can't have them together.
Like being committed. Being committed. You've been committed. That's mental illness under it, and it can knock you on that. And it asks you that. Have you ever been committed? You ever been, into a mental illness institution? You mark yes, no firearm. You mark no, and you lie. You've committed a felony. You go to prison. Just by lying on this questionnaire, you have to go through this. And then if you lie on it, you can get 3 years in prison for it. And that's just for trying to purchase a firearm. And then you sign it and even ask you that you're signing everything that you said is true. You in the system, we run you through the FBI. They delay you, meaning it could take up to 4 days before they decide if they want to give you a firearm. And then if they say on the 4th day, yeah, you can have a firearm. We call you up, say, hey, you can have a firearm, come and get it. Now, on the same form, we pull over to page 3 and it asks you, have you done anything bad within the last 4 days since you last answered this form? I think it's actually 6. Okay, 6 days. If you have, you got to sign and say, no, you haven't. And if you have done something and you lied, that's a felony. You're going to prison. So, like, it's already strict. And for people to elaborate or comment on it who've never purchased a firearm or even went through to get a permit, unfortunately, they don't really know the stepping stones and the boundaries that they really have to do.
Okay, what do you think?
I mean, they kind of hit it all. Yeah. They literally hit everything. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real. Arkansas private sales, they do bypass a lot of that shit that you talking about. Private sales do, but you go to the FFL dealer, they do the shit that they talking about. You know what I'm saying?
though, like doing everything.
Or if you go to like Academy Sports or something like that.
Right, I'm more of the electronic side where like I would support them with like drop shipping and everything. We have to create integrations with Fastbound, which is a 4473 government verified system. So I'm more on the software side, but everything that they hit is exactly the hoops. And now, if you could imagine, doing this in person is a lot easier than doing it through software. It was not fun.
For a 4473, what he means by that, that's the actual form number of that form you fill out for a firearm. It's called a 4473. That's what the federal government, that's its form number.
Sorry,
for anybody who
I
does.
should have explained it, but yeah.
No, you,
but yeah, I just
making sure, yes.
yeah.
Because they spoke earlier about how they wanted to maybe get into it and purchase one, and by educating them like, hey, this is what you're going to run into, give you a heads up, like do it good.
That is the way, right?
Yeah.
So
And it also covers straw purchases as well.
Oh yeah, so if you're purchasing it for somebody else, like if you're filling out the form and you're going to go give them the firearm, you both now face prison. And I'm pretty sure Iowa has a strict gun law where if you actually do that, you could be held to the same standards as the person who committed a felony with such firearm or anything like that. Like you yourself could get up to 10 years for it.
everything they said is exactly right. I'm more on the I send everything to them to do,
and then it's our responsibility.
It is on them
to check everybody, and then before we put a firearm out into the world.
And then any firearm I've ever purchased personally has been bill of sale. So,
all right. So after all of that,
that's what I'm saying. He said every firearm he's purchased personally has been bill of sale. That's what I'm saying. That's what's going on in the South, man. Bill of sale, man. Your ass go through all the hoops and hurdles, man. You go bill the sale. You know what I'm saying? Do shit the right way, though.
I guess my question would be to you guys, like, what is some way that, like, with that process, it could be made harder to get a gun? What are, like, the first things that come to your guys' mind? Like, who shouldn't be able to get a gun? Or what is if you think about, like, making it harder, what do you guys think could make it harder?
Well, first, I don't like...
I would say the only people that off the top, give me time to think, but right now I could say violent criminals who have like really violent shit, you know what I'm saying? They shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna keep it real. Yeah, really violent criminals should not have guns. I ain't gonna go with the mental health because that's a slippery slope, but I say really violent criminals.
The idea of just owning a gun just because, I feel like eventually we need to be, like, as a society, come somewhere where you have a gun for either hunting or you're, I don't know, involved in the military, but like the average day civilian should not just be having a gun for fun just because they like guns, because guns are harmful. So I feel like eventually we just need to have guns, not reasons to like use that force amongst civilians, basically. The type of guns that are allowed to be bought.
Do you think there should be a limit on how...
When I hear shit like that, it's like, let's just make America the UK. Let's just make America another country. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? No, baby, this is America. How about this? How about if I want a gun for every day of the week, I'm going to get a gun for every day of the week. Maybe I want to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, why would I have to be restricted to having a gun for hunting? Okay, well, damn, maybe I do this type of hunting, that type of hunting. Maybe if you get wrong, you know what I mean? You're like, what? This is crazy, man. They want to take America and turn this shit to something else, bro. I'm convinced.
Any guns someone can own?
Yeah.
What about you guys? What is that limit?
I mean, like, what would you ever need like 100 guns for? Like, what kind of... You have to be drug dealing at that point.
No, lady. There's such things as called investments. Some things called collectibles. You know what I'm saying? Just because your gun isn't 100 years old doesn't mean one day it won't be 100 years old. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people put their fortune into guns, and if they fall off, they can sell those guns. Like some people go buy a shit ton of jewelry and they pawn that jewelry off if they get on hard times. Well, gun collectors can do the same thing. Some gun collections are upwards of millions of dollars. You don't think that dude can bust that thing down gun by gun and get top dollar for everything that he wants? top dollar for every single attachment he wants. He could have a gun for every damn bill he gets. You know what I'm saying? If he falls on hard time, fuck it. I'm going to go sell my Daniel Defense and get me a quick 2600 to make it through for a couple months. If something happens, fuck it. I'm going to go sell my FN and get $1,000. Like, what? Like, some people just don't. I don't know, bro. Oh, now the damn video's messed up. All right, Chad. We'll watch the rest of this later. I gotta finish doing my daughter's hair, and get her to her damn mom, man. This is crazy. We'll finish watching this later, man. This shit is crazy. These people are delusional, bro. I'm gonna come back right quick. I am finna refresh it, and I'm gonna open up the call line, see if anybody wants to call, man. I'm gonna refresh it right quick. Hold on, chat.
Guns that are allowed to be bought.
Do you think there should be a limit on how many guns
Guns that are allowed to be bought.
Do you think there should be a limit on how many guns someone can own?
Yeah.
What about you guys?
What is that limit?
I mean, like, what would you ever need, like, 100 guns for? Like, what kind of... You have to be drug dealing at that point, in my mind, to be like...
I mean, people collect Pokemon cards, though.
I guess, but, like, I mean, are you protecting Pokemon cards?
You couldn't.
There needs to be a limit on how much you can use and what you can use. Assault weapons are, like, semi-automatic, like, weapons that, like, fire rounds fast. It doesn't make much sense for us to have them. Like, if you were talking about hunting rifles, for example, or rifles where you couldn't do as much damage to mass amounts of people, I would see more of an argument for that. But, like, the fact that you can get, like, an AR-15, or, like, what do you need that for? I just doubt that zombie apocalypse is going to start in the next 3 years. Like,
Have you ever shot an AR-15 at all? You ever shot one?
I would never like to.
No,
I feel like I'd shoot myself in the foot.
Yeah, no, not at all. They're pretty safe.
And I'm an impulsive person.
Yeah, you don't need no damn gun. You impulsive and shit. You would be done shot everybody. You would be done pulled a Dick Cheney out here, man. Shot everybody in the damn back. Let me open up the call line. Shot everybody in the damn back. Talking about she impulsive. Alright, man. The phone lines are open, chat. If anybody does want to call in, man. This shit is crazy, man.
Yeah. And I just don't like the idea of being able to... You don't know when your mental health could plummet. Things happen all the time.
All right, man. Anybody want to call in? Let us know if you're pro Second Amendment, anti Second Amendment, man. I'm gonna leave the call phone lines open for a second. If we get a caller or two, then we'll have a conversation. If not, then shit, you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna go be a dad right quick. I gotta handle some business. But I will. I do got that Myron video that I'm gonna upload. I didn't go as hard on the video as I did on this live earlier, but yeah, I got the Myron video about to upload. Damn. Alright, chat. Nobody's gonna call in, so we finna get up out of here, man. Oh, we finna get up out of here. Alright, chat, I'll see y'all hopefully later on tonight. Hopefully I'll see y'all later on tonight. If not, then shit, I'll see y'all on the nigga day. I'm gonna try to get back here tonight though. Alright, chat, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, man.